Hi, I'm Judy of 5½. I make these little handmade journals, and so today I'm going to teach you how to make your own one with 2 of your own original photographs. What you'll need is your 2 photos. So pick 2 vertical ones, one for your front cover and one for your back cover. And you'll need a stack of paper. Here they've been pre-cut into the same size as the photos. If you don't have papers that are all around the same size, what you could do is just get a bunch of scrap papers and somehow use an X-Acto knife or a pair of scissors and cut them all into the same size as your photos. These will be the inside of your journal. So what you can do is get a bunch of recycled papers from old notebooks and, be environmentally friendly and have some fun papers to write on when you're done. You'll also need Elmer's glue or craft glue, just white sticky glue, a brush. Don't get a new brush, use an old brush because this will be used for your glue. 2 pegs or clothespins or binder clips. And a pair of scissors. And another sheet of construction paper, craft paper, whatever you want. This will be the spine of your journal. So find something that matches your photographs. A sheet of wax paper and 2 books of the exact same size. These will be props when you're putting together your journal. And 1 huge heavy book, an encyclopedia, a big dictionary, whatever. If you have a brick, even better. So we'll get started first of all by taking out your 2 photos. Take one for the front cover, one for the back. I'm going to use the red hydrant for the front. And I've got a stack of papers. And what you do is you take your front cover photo and your papers, and then you put your back cover photo on the back of the book. And it's like shuffling a card deck. You kind of just shuffle the papers around so that they're all aligned together. And you want them aligned as accurately as possible along the left edge, which is going to be the spine of your book. So you do a bit of shuffling and moving papers around, and when you think you've got it right, hold it in place with your wooden pegs. All right. So now you have your book held together. You take the other 2 books that you're using, these are your props. And what you do is you put your little journal stack in between these 2 books. See how they prop up with the pegs. You take your Elmer's glue and you just put 1 thin layer of this. Get all your glue out first. And then you take your brush and you smooth out that layer. The first layer won't get all of the papers to glue together, but that's okay. Just try and get the glue on as smoothly as possible. And you'll need to wait a couple of seconds. Just hold it in place. Wait a couple of seconds for the glue to dry. And then, when it's a little drier, you can add your second layer of glue. Again, use your brush and smooth it out. And it should be pretty gooey now, and that's good. That'll hold all of your papers together with the spine. Okay, and so now you've got everything glued together. And you'll need to wait a few seconds for all of this to dry. If you feel like the papers are expanding a little bit, that's because of the glue, and you can just kind of squeeze it all together with your fingers. And don't worry about the glue getting on the edge of your photos, because that's going to be covered up later at the very end. So while we wait, we'll set up what we need next. Take your wax paper and your big book. When the glue has dried significantly, take your little journal stack out and take your pegs out, and your book holds together on its own. At this point, your spine is pretty much done, but obviously it's not a completed book yet. So what you need to do is press this to make sure the glue actually attaches to the paper. You put your journal stack between the wax paper sheet, and you put the two books that you were just using as props, put them on top, and your big heavy book. And you leave all of this for about 10 to 15 minutes. And so in the meantime, you can get up, walk around, take a break, and go drink some water or maybe read another book. So I'll leave you for now. So we took our little 10-minute break, and we checked on our notebook by taking everything apart and just use your finger and touch the spine and see if the glue is dry yet. And for us, it actually ended up taking half an hour because it wasn't dry after 10 minutes, and we just left it and pressed it some more. But okay, so half an hour later, it is dry. And what you do is take everything out, and you have your little journal. And all the papers are glued together along the spine. Now we have to finish the journal, and you would do that by taking your piece of matching paper. It could be construction paper, patterned, whatever. I like using craft paper because I think that goes really well with photographs. And what I'm going to do is measure it so that my piece of paper is the same height as my photo. And here it actually happens to be already the same height. And then I need to get this to be a thin strip of paper that I can wrap around the spine of my book. So what I do is I wrap it around so it looks sort of like this, and just use your fingernail and kind of press where you want this paper to end. So it would be ending around here. So I'm using my fingernails to just crease it there. And what you do now is you take your scissors or your X-Acto knife and you just cut that strip. You have your strip of paper. And again, don't put any glue on this yet. Just wrap this around your book. And use your fingers and kind of just press the paper along the edges of your journal. Okay, so now that you've got these two folds here along the edge that you can see, and what you do is you fold along the whole length. That's one fold. And then you find the other fold that you put on before, and you just fold the other leg. And it's actually trickier with craft paper because it's thinner than construction paper, so you might want to use construction paper the first time that you're doing this. So now you've got your little spine cover, and you'll see how it just fits along your photo. What you do next is actually you have to put glue all over it. And you don't want to glue your little piece of paper to the table, so you could just get a piece of scrap paper, put that underneath, put your little strip of paper on top, and put your glue on. You don't want this to be completely gooey, so just a little bit of glue. And again, just use your brush and put glue all along. And make sure you get the edges and the center, because that's the most important part. A little more. Alright, so now you've got glue along the whole spine, and it's time to put it on your book. So just match up where your corners were before if you can still find them. If not, just kind of eyeball it and press it on. It kind of helps if you actually press down along the spine edge first and then fold the two flaps over along the edges. And this is actually a lot easier than it sounds explaining. So what you do is you fold it over on this edge too. And you might find is the case is that your paper may have gotten longer. A lot of paper stretches out when you put glue on it. If that's the case, once you have this stuck on, just take your scissors and trim off the excess paper. It's okay. See how it's sticking out a little bit on the edges here? So you would just trim that off too. And now you've got your finished journal.